Hi travelers, Tara here, and today is September 19th, 2017. And we're going to be we have a new moon in Virgo tomorrow, and we're just going to open the cards and see what the cards have to say. We will be doing the usual. I'll be closing the reading down with an angel answer card, a heart oracle tarot, and a romance angel. For those of you who are members of the website, that transit watch is already posted up for this week. I'm about to complete the part 2 of the Saturn return article, and then there's a third part coming up as well. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the video gallery on the website. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to keep it and just make a workaround page like I did for the August readings, because I don't know yet. But do know that I'm going to start working on the individual monthlies for October. And I have also promised you a romance gallery. So I'm going to be working on that as well. This is, we've got... See, there's a Jupiter-Saturn clash coming up. I don't know when that is. But this is the last one for this cycle. It's been going on since 2016, I believe, or 2015. I'm not exactly sure. And so those two have been clashing in the sky. They've been opposing each other, squaring each other. And so this is the last one. Of course, what this can do is create the... conditions or the appearance or the feeling of wanting to expand and grow and bring in new things, that Jupiter energy, the abundance, opposing that Saturn energy of limitations and restrictions. So it is a difficult energy, but just know that it's going to be passing here very, very soon. Those of you who are Scorpio, Scorpio suns, and Scorpio risings, you have had, for Scorpio risings, you've had Jupiter in your 12th house. For Scorpio suns, Jupiter will be moving into, well, for both of you, Jupiter will be moving into your first house of self. And this is very, very important. So if you've been struggling with anything in terms of your appearance or your profile or your reputation or how you appear to others or what you're projecting out, Jupiter is about to bring in some great opportunities for you. You're going to get to host Jupiter in your sign for an entire year. So get ready, Scorpios. It's coming. All right, let's go ahead and lay the cards. I've done a little bit of pre-shuffling and see what message has to come through. Now, remember, this is a general reading, so the messages will not resonate with everyone. In order to gain any insight into your situation does require a personal reading. If you're interested in getting a personal reading from me, you can simply click on the little box over in the right hand corner. That will take you directly over to the website. I have several products there. There's tarot card readings by phone, private video, which is what you get to keep. You get to download it and keep it yourself. It's yours. Then there's astrology products. There are Akashic records and etheric cord cutting products. So there's lots of stuff over there besides all of the information. If you're interested in purchasing a membership, there are 3 levels. There is $7 for 30 days, which after 30 days, you know, that's a cost of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, really. And after 30 days, if you don't like what's there, then you don't have to pay again. You get a full month to try it out. And then I have a 6-month membership recurring at $28. And then there's the yearly membership for $50, and that's recurring. And then, of course, if you decide after 6 months or a year you don't want to continue, you have the option of canceling your subscription. You have to do that yourself through the PayPal, through your accounts option. Let's see, what else? You get 2 free natal charts with that. One is you get to create yourself. The other one is something that I create for you personally, which includes the asteroids. So that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and get started with this reading. You know what? I need to go get my phone so that I can do a little bit of... Yeah, I'm still gipping around on this boot, you guys. Okay. Let me pull up my things here, and then we will get started, okay? And we're going to pull up one more. All right. So this will apply whether same-sex or heterosexual. Whomever's going to take the role of the male, whomever's going to take the role of the female in the relationship. So we'll see what the cards have to say. They never tell you what you want to hear. They only tell you what you need to hear. Okay, so here we go. 9 cards. I'm going to put one more shuffle on these. The Lovers. Right off the bat. This is a Gemini card. And as we know, Gemini also is ruled by the sign, by the planet Mercury. And although Mercury went direct on the 3rd of September, he's still in his post-shadow phase. So roughly around, let's say, the 26th, the 28th, you can expect him to be back up to full speed. So if you've been waiting on any information or you've been trying to make a decision but have been unclear about what decision you're supposed to make, this may help you. The 7 of Cups. Well, we see there's some confusion. The 6 of Swords. So I have 2 6s here. The Lovers is a 6. Strength. Wow. The World. Wow. The Chariot. Wow. Right across the center there is all of these major arcana cards. Wow. And you know, for those of you who are on the website, you know that we have a lot of, we've had last month, August, and July, we had a lot of transits across the sign of Leo and the sign of Cancer. Here's a 5 of Cups. Here's an 8 of Swords. Well, and here is the Temperance card. So, for those of you who have been with me for a while, you know that the major arcana hold more sway than the pip cards. And our pip cards are going to be our numbered cards, like the 7 of Cups, the excuse me, 6 of Swords, sorry, the 5 of Cups, and the 8 of Swords. And 9 cards, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana. So whatever this is speaking about, it is basically, in a sense, sort of out of your control at the moment, which is why I think the Strength and the Chariot card has come out. What's underneath the deck? Oh, wow. A King of Cups. So some of you may be dealing with a water sign individual, Cancer, Scorpio, and or Pisces. Now, right in the center, I have the World card. And that's that Saturn energy that I was speaking about. And Saturn can bring... Saturn is about commitment. Let's put it that way. But commitment in the sense that you're willing to do the necessary work that it takes to build up your structure or to make something more solid and more secure. Whenever the World card shows up, 2 things come to mind for me when the World card comes up. For one, the first thing is it tells me that you're at the end of a cycle. This is, you know, we go through cycle, and typically Saturn cycles are 29 years, okay? And Saturn spends 2 years in each sign. While he's there, he can be doing some real damage. But the thing about Saturn is that not to fear it and not to, if possible, allow whatever delays or restrictions or limitations, and more importantly, what fears come up, not to allow those things to prevent you from doing the actual work that you need to do. Because typically when Saturn shows up, what he's doing is he's coming in to test your structures to see, you know, if they're strong enough. And if they're not strong enough, he's going to point out those areas where they're weak. Okay. And what he wants you to do is he wants you to work on shoring up those weak areas of your life. So if this is about finances, which I don't think it is because there are no coins here. Traditionally, the coins are associated with finances, but on the whole, coins are associated with the material plane. So this is bank accounts, possessions, food, drink, sex, anything that we experience on the physical plane, the third dimensional plane. So with all of these major arcana, what we're dealing with really is a spiritual issue. And what this is telling me is that some of you, in the past, I think that many of you have had some, who hasn't, have gone through some really tough romantic times, in the sense that maybe some of you have split up from someone that you love very much, or that person has left you. Maybe there has been a third party who has come into the picture. The reason why I say that is I have those 3 cups there, that 5 of cups. And sometimes this can be a third party coming in. And there's a choice between the head and the heart. But others of us may have had lots of promises broken to us, or people have lied or deceived us. And what I'm looking at here, I have, let's see, I have 2 8s. I have 2 6s and 2 8s. And I also have 2 7s. Now, and that's quite interesting to me. And so in the past, I see perhaps some of you have come to some type of realization or some type of illumination surrounding relationships in whatever way, shape, or form that means for you. Okay. And I think that at least what I'm feeling and what I'm picking up is that there's a real struggle for you not to allow past experiences to color your present reality. And what I mean by that is, let's say, for instance, you were in a relationship with someone, and you thought everything was good, and then suddenly the person comes home one day and says, you know what, I'm with somebody else and I don't want to be with you anymore. Well, bam. And it's taken you a while to get over that. There has been some confusion surrounding this. And sometimes this card can also be the choice of many options. That's what the Lovers. The Lovers is about a choice. And we know that sometimes choices present challenges for us. What do we do? What is it? Do we follow what our heart says, or do we follow what our head says? And that is the choice of the Lovers. And we see that there are many options out there. And sometimes these are not just options, but these can be fears. These can be illusions. These can be fantasies. They're cups in a cloud. Okay. Whatever the thing is that's going on with you, per se, is really a highly emotional time. Okay. Because to me, that's all the cups represent. They represent emotions, not just love, but there's anger, there's fear, there's greed, there's envy, there's jealousy, there's power, there's control. So there are lots of emotions that are happening here. And to me, this card kind of speaks to everything being up in the air, right? Literally, everything is just up in the air, and you're not exactly sure what the hell's happening. And that's okay. Sometimes the most comforting thing another person can say to you is, I don't know either. So, but we see that we're moving away from that. Here is this 6 of Swords. And the 6 of Swords speaks to moving from turbulent times to more calm times, from more choppy waters to more smooth waters. This may be coming through for you with an actual person. See that man steering the boat? Maybe some of you are single parents and you have, I keep picking up that this is there's a new choice that has entered the picture. Okay. And this could be a new person who has entered in. And maybe you are a single parent. again, you know, same sex or heterosexual. Maybe you're a single dad and a new female has come in to your life, and you're, you know, based upon your previous experiences with your past mate or past past mate or spouse, or even just your dating opportunities haven't gone so well. But now maybe something has come in. There's the angel, and that's Gabriel, and he is the archangel of love and the archangel of healing, love issues, heart issues, trust issues. Okay, so he's trying to bring in some healing for you. We know that that's not easy, but maybe there's somebody new coming in, and this person has the, not the potential, but in effect has in one way kind of help you move away from this confusion, but yet there's still confusion here. Now, across the center, the Strength card, the World card, and the Chariot. These are three, I think, together. All of the major arcana cards are big cards, but these three together speak of something really powerful happening here. The Strength card is about taking a risk. You see, she is prying open the jaws of the lion. She's not doing it with a whip and a chair. She's not doing it with a gun in her hand. She's not doing it. She's just simply approaching the beast, and through her calm demeanor and through her trust and her faith that everything's going to be okay, she's simply able to pry open the mouth of this lion. In other words, she's able to subdue whatever this beast represents. Okay? It represents, this card stands for strength and determination when taking a risk. Sometimes you have to take a risk without any guarantee of how things are going to come out. Okay, because the truth is there are no guarantees in life. We don't know if we go to sleep every night if we're going to wake up. We don't know, like I fell off the porch, you know, you don't, I could have broke my leg. I don't know. But this is about having faith and having trust and standing strong and being true, but also having to take a risk. Now, the World card comes into play to say that this is the end of a cycle. So something is about to change for you. It's going to be a slow change. It's not going to be something that happens quickly. It's not going to be something that where the light bulb's going to come on all of a sudden. This is going to be slow and perhaps difficult. And again, that message of shoring up those weaknesses that you may have. So if you struggle with trust issues, or if you struggle with speaking clearly, or saying what's on your mind or what's in your heart, this is saying that this cycle is about to end for you. And so basically what you must do during this to move through successfully, not saying that there's a successful outcome to perhaps this relationship, but saying that if you just want to move through whatever's coming up for you at this time, you're going to, again, have to be very determined to do so. So this is about facing those fears and taking that risk. The Chariot is a war vehicle, and it also is the number 7. And we have 2 sevens here. So, and 7s represent internal conflict. Okay? And this is really, I think, about not allowing your imagination here, your illusions and your fantasies to get the best of you. Okay? Because I can see that some of you aren't sure what to think, and you feel as though you're stuck in one place. Well, this can be the victim mentality card. Okay? So, in other words, it's really your own thoughts that are keeping you trapped in wherever it is that you feel that you're trapped. If this is you, why? Well, sure. In the past, there has been heartache and loss. But look, that's the 2 of Cups in disguise. See the 2 cups on the back? So if you're still, you know, look, it may take a while. Well, it is going to take a while. Here's the Temperance card. Okay? And this is about marrying the passion and the desire and the emotions with the logic. What do you need to do? Well, you need to try to remain grounded, and don't allow things to get out of control for you. You need to maintain that compassion, that empathy, and that trust. But by the same token, you want to remain logical about those things, okay? This Chariot card says that it is a long, dusty trip that you're about to go on. And you see this guy, he doesn't even have any reins to hold on to that chariot, but yet he's driving it. And how does he drive it? He gets control of his dark side. It's the yin and the yang. Now, for me, that little symbol in the center, you know, it looks like a top. I don't know if it's a top, but it looks like a top or a dreidel. So something that can, in effect, maybe spin out of control if you're not careful. But then the wings over the top tell me that, for me personally as a reader, this has to do something with Mercury. And if you notice, he's got the moon on his shoulders. He's got the 12 stars representing the 12 constellations on his head, and he's standing underneath the canopy of stars. So this tells me that there is some transit going on, the sun, the Saturn, and the moon. This is the chariot, represents the house of Cancer, the 4th house. So this is the moon. So this is deep emotional things, and it's trying to maintain that balance and that level while you're moving through this. Things that may be coming up, for sure, and remaining focused on wherever it is you're trying to go, okay? Eventually you will get there. Now, what I'm also picking up for some of you is that I think the most striking line is this. I have the 6 of Swords going this way, the World card that way, and the 5 of Cups this way. And in other words, it's here in the center, you're protected during this, but at the same time, you're kind of frozen in place between one direction and another, the future and the past. I only say the future because of the way the card, it's going out of this spread. Now, the way I read the cards is past, present, future, with the interplay. I see that for some of you, this decision is going to mean that there is going to be a loss in a relationship. Okay, you're going to have to leave something behind because it no longer serves your purpose. And then for others of you, you are really gathering the strength. You're moving through this and you're gathering the strength and biding your time here with the Sagittarian card, this Temperance card, as you wait for this cycle to end. Where you are presently, right down the center, it is a moment of pause. It is a moment of pause. But here on this future vertical row, you will, I think, some of you will be successful in moving through this. And it may be through the help of this Cup King, okay? It is a moment of growth. It is a moment of, and also it has come through the nodes. The true north node is in Aquarius and the true south node, no, the true north node is in Leo and the true south node is in Aquarius. True north node, true south node. Okay. Also, what I'm picking up is that for some of you, this is about a long distance relationship. Where the person lives some distance away from you. The World card with the Temperance. Temperance is the Sagittarian card. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter and Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules foreigners, people who live at a distance from you. People who have different religious beliefs. They may be racially different. There's a different socioeconomic background. But those people can expand your world for you. For others of you, this is about actually maybe taking a trip someplace. foreign. The World card with the Chariot, with the Temperance card, can sometimes be about taking a trip overseas. Maybe some of you have met someone, or you have something in mind that maybe you're going through a divorce and you need to decompress. So you decided you're just going to take a trip. You're going to go, I don't know, let's say you're going to go to England, okay, and to get away so that you can get a different perspective on things. Some of you may, I'm not picking up that you're going to meet someone, but I think there's, through either someone who's at a distance or through some type of travel, there's not necessarily a rebirth, but there's a rebalancing of this. You see, look, there's 2 cups, and the angel has 2 cups. Now, I also want you to pay attention to the fact that there are 2 angels. Here is Raphael, and here is Gabriel. There are 2 angels in this, okay? And we have representations of the sun and the moon and the earth. That's what this card represents. So this is an all-encompassing kind of issue. Now, what I want to do, first let me look at the 2 sixes and tell you what the 2 sixes represent. I'm going to give you 2 meanings here. So the first that you need to know, 2 sixes says issues surrounding equality may affect the relationship. Okay. 2 sevens, self-confidence issues may cause instability in the relationship. The 7 of Cups and the Chariot, 2 sevens. The Lovers and the 6 of Swords, 2 sixes. But I also have 2 eights. 2 eights, you will receive news that affects the relationship. Now here's this somewhat kind of a news, something that may be a long time in coming or has traveled quite a distance, or maybe has had it's coming but in a convoluted manner. I mean, really, the Chariot, it's a box with wheels. It doesn't have a motor, and so there may be some things that it can't travel through, so it might have to take a circuitous route to get there. And maybe for some of you, you're doubting that it's ever going to come. You may be feeling as though it's just like it was before. And if that's the case, that's the way that you're thinking. Because really, all you have to do is remove the blind and just kind of be realistic about what's happening. Okay? And you'll see that you're really not stuck. You do have a choice. Okay? Now, let me go to the other interpretation here. And then I'm going to see if I can pull up any extra meanings with some of these cards next to these what do you call it? Major Arcana cards. Okay, so we're going to look first at the 2 sevens. There's a lot of Sagittarian energy here as well. Even this card sometimes plays out to me sort of like the Wheel of Fortune, which is the Jupiter card, which is Sagittarius. So maybe some of you might be even dealing with, maybe you yourselves are Sagittarian. Hell, I don't know. I can tell you that Saturn in Sagittarius can be depending on where Sagittarius falls in your chart. Like for me, he falls in my 4th house. If I'm looking at my sun sign chart, then Sagittarius, Saturn has been sitting in my 4th house of home, family, children, nurturing. You know, I've been wanting to move and can't seem to, you know, even falling off the porch and injuring my foot has something to do with movement. Okay. So it says 2 sevens appearing in a spread together warns of false friends. And I do feel, as when I first started out, that I was saying to you, some of you are coming from a place where, you know, people have just lied and deceived you in very close personal relationships. Okay. But, you know, they're not, that's still a lingering factor. So let me see if this 7 of Cups next to the Lovers is a message to say, take someone close into consideration when making choices and decisions, as they are imminent changes coming into your life. Be thoughtful of others' wants and needs during this transition. There is enough room on your path for 2. So in other words, maybe somebody showed up and you're doubting and you're questioning. This is telling you, listen again, the 7 of Cups, when it appears next to the Lovers, and here we have it, is a message to take someone close into consideration when making choices and decisions. As there are imminent changes coming into your life, be thoughtful of others' wants and needs during this transition. There is enough room on your path for two. Next to the Lovers, this indicates that your life path is broad enough for two. So in other words, if you feel that, there's something you want to do, but you're not sure if you want to take somebody else along or include them, reconsider that, because the cards are saying that your path is broad enough for two. And maybe this is someone who's included you, who's saying, hey, look, I want you to come in. I want to do this with you. I want to do that with you. What they're telling you is that their path, they want to include you on their path. So please do not take that lightly, okay? I don't see it next to anything else. So now let me go to the Five of Cups to see if it has any meaning next to the Strength card or the World card. No, there's no meaning there. So then I want to take a look at the Eight of Swords to see if there's any meaning next to either the World, the Strength, because they're touching on these two cards, the Chariot or the Temperance. I think that's a very powerful message that the path is big enough for the two of you. Let's look at the Eight of Swords. And this can represent the energy of, I think it's Mercury and Gemini. It's a Gemini card. Yeah, Mercury in Gemini. And the keywords are crisis, conflict, entrapment, hurt, anxiety, indecisions, restrictions, intuition, movement, freedom, new beginnings, overcoming fear, and easing pressures. And we see that there's a lot of that going on. So as I said, if you're going through that, know that you're passing through, it's like the crucible. It's a crucible. You're trying to separate the wheat from the dross, okay? And the alchemical mix. Now, let's see if there's no meaning of it next to any of these cards. So now I want to take a look at the Six of Swords, okay? And what this tells me, if anything. No, it doesn't. Now, in this particular spread, remember, I've read you the 2 sevens telling you that they're warning of false friends. And because it's in the past, I think it's something that, as I said, you're dealing with and you're making your way through that. 2 sixes, however, appearing in a spread tells of justifiable faith in your partner. And I think that comes across again as the message of the path being big enough for two. Now let's look at the 2 eights. Okay? Because the other meaning was that, you're going to get news that affects the relationship. Now, 2 eights appearing in a reading implies that there may be a slight concern in regards to a new romance, relationship, or partnership. And that again comes through. Very much so. And I feel that this is why this row in the present right here, Strength, the World, and the Chariot, it's like totally screaming at me. Even this row here, the Lovers, the World, and the Temperance. And this is a slow process, a slow distillation of self-improvement, a slow process of coming to terms and to grips with those things in your past that have not been pleasant in terms of your interactional relationships with people. This is not about commerce. This is not about property per se. I do feel for some of you, someone's going to want you to move in with him. If they have not already asked you, perhaps moving this to the next level. If they have not already asked you, Maybe that is why there's all of this indecision and confusion here in the center, or because maybe, you know, based upon your past or previous experiences, it's like, you know, I've been there, done that. I've heard that before, and then it didn't work out. Well, you want to be, see that infinity symbol, as above, so below. That's also equated to, the magician has the same thing. So this is about, I'm going to tell you in my experience, what it's about is having the strength to show yourself as who you are. See, we've got naked people. And that's what naked people, nakedness implies openness and vulnerability. And what I'm picking up from this world card is that if you do this, you show yourself as who you are, you're going to be protected in this. In other words, you're shoring up something that maybe you're not even aware of. Okay, it may not necessarily be with that other person, but simply for yourself. That person is alone in that. You see, that person is singular. See the two wands? There's a balance trying to be struck here. Okay, and maybe this person who has come in could very well be the catalyst for those things. Well, what you're being asked to do is to be strong enough to show yourself as who you are. Yes, that's a risk. But then, you know, that old saying, no pain, no gain. No, you know, if you don't risk, how do you know how it's going to turn out? Truth of the matter is, it's no different than walking out of your house and getting in your car. You know, every time you get behind the wheel of a car, you're taking a risk that you're going to get where you're going without any issues, without any wrecks, without any tickets, anything. So you don't really know, but people don't look at or equate relationships that way. Of course, it's on a deeper, more personal, more profound, more emotional, psychological level, the relationships. But if you want to take that portion out of it, you're still taking a risk. So is this relationship that's coming up. So I want to take a look at what these two things are. Okay. Two cup cards, two swords cards. And so again, it's that message of head over heart, emotions over thoughts, belief, perceptions, ideas. Yeah, that's what the swords are. All right, here we go. The balance of the yin and the yang. The black and white sphinx. La lecherezza. Okay, this is, the lecherezza represents, it's a butterfly. And in one respect, it speaks to sex. But in this sense, what we're talking about is someone's sensibilities. Their sensibilities and their sensitivities are changing. This card can sometimes be irritability, but nevertheless, it speaks to the lightness of being. And I think that some of you are trying to really lift this, because that Saturn can be a heavy weight. The domestico. Now, the domestico is a helper, but, you know, he's kind of questionable in his motives. So this could be what you're struggling with. You're not sure, as I say, that you can trust this process or this individual or what is happening since this person has come in. But also it's in the past. This is the past row, but it's also the future row going out. It still sits in the past position. So to me, this is kind of like the basis, the real anchor of what this is talking about. There's the il nemico. Is this person really friend or foe? Is he friend or foe? Because I've been through this shit before. Okay. And interestingly, they both are wearing cloaks. Now, he has a snake in his hand, and he's running away from this person. So I don't know if this means, remember I said that maybe some of you will be leaving a relationship. That's what Jupiter in Libra does. It brings divorces, separations. It brings engagements and marriages. Okay, there's a reshuffling. It's like a big barn dance. More people divorce or separate. That means there's newer people on the dating market. So you got more chances to meet somebody new. Okay. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Now, let's look at this Six of Swords. But sometimes that Il Nemico can also be someone who is fearful. Your own worst enemy. But it speaks to rivalry. Hate, concealed anger. Okay, so some of you may be dealing with an ex. And you feel you can't get away from that person. You know, you're trying to move forward and that person keeps cropping up like a bad penny. You know. The Vedovo. This is a mourning. This is a passing. It's almost like it's a rite of passage. The Sacerdote. The single man. But it also speaks to faith or a counselor or and the Denari. Wow, that's very powerful. The cards are saying, do not assume that you are the only one who has a bit of confusion about this. And confusion is not even really the word. It's not the energy that's coming off. And it's not even really doubts. What's coming off is a sense of not seeing how things are going. There's no clarity in terms of the direction in which this is going. Okay. The sacerdote, you know, what's so interesting is that we have these three different energies. The sacerdote represents someone that you can trust, and there's that you can confide in, that there is a value in that. But also, what these three cards tell me, sometimes these two cards, the Sacerdote with the Denari, represent a marriage. We see this in the future. But someone has to themselves leave the past behind. So to assume that maybe you're the only one who's not sure in terms of the clarity in which direction this is going, you're not the only one. But remember, the path is broad enough for two. Okay, now what I want to look at, I really want to pull cards on this Temperance because this is our outgoing energy. And looking at this, he's looking back over his shoulder, but he's walking right into this. So I would dare say that this, perhaps Water King himself, may be struggling with things from the past. Trying to release, he's trying to walk away from, maybe this person has themselves had to put up a lot of walls, because that's sometimes what Saturn can be about, putting up a lot of walls to keep people out. Based upon past history. Let's take a look at this Temperance. And then I want you to go ahead and start formulating your angel question for the angel answer cards. Temperance. The Lamante, male, lover. Fortuna, the Wheel of Fortune. Remember I said that the Wheel of Fortune was lurking around in here someplace. And the Sospiri. This speaks to many of you waiting for that person to come in. Waiting for your ship to come in, waiting for that lover to come in. And while you're waiting, you're being asked to do some healing on your own. Indeed, I would think that perhaps for some of you, because this King of Cups has surfaced, he has already arrived or manifested himself up on the scene. Okay? And now it is a waiting game. And I don't mean that in the sense that from a predatory manner. It is simply waiting. Remember that message that it said, you know, you're going to receive news that affects a relationship. It's tentative, but it's coming. This is someone stepping forward. Okay, that's someone stepping forward. How interesting. All right. Formulate one question. Sometimes this is about putting old ghosts to rest. Yes? Those angels in the spirit realm, they're trying to heal something for you on a very, very deep level. Putting the old ghosts to rest. All right, formulate your one question. And I'm going to pull one card. Holy smokes. Okay. Oh, well. And now, the romance angels. Let's see what the energy is surrounding this, or what the underlying issue may be, or what is it that we really need to, wow. Wow. Okay. I think this is a major, major lesson for some of you. Wow. And I think some of you are being faced with, you know, you've been waiting and wondering and praying and doing all those things, asking for that person to come. And now I think the opportunity is presenting itself to you. And many of you now don't know what to do. Yeah? The angel answer. And that's the part about taking the risk that I was telling you about. This is a time for trust. Sometimes there is no yes or no to an answer. There are situations where we are better served by not knowing what is to come, so that the miracle can unfold before our very eyes. Like children opening a gift, part of the magic of our lives is found in the joy of surprise. Trust that your angels have something in store for you, even if they can't quite tell you yet what it is. The Hermit. So we're being asked to seek. Now what's interesting is there are two birds here. And in cartomancy, birds represent mated pairs, but they also represent thoughts and communication, conversations. The keywords are quest, understand, retreat, solitude, introspection, and guidance. Sometimes individuals become so engrossed in a relationship or in wanting a relationship that all perspective is lost. I think the most readings that I get from people are about relationships, but relationships are not things that are exclusive to other things going on in your life, right? The relationship becomes their world and they lose sight of themselves. This card suggests that now is a time to take a step back, either from a relationship or from the desire for one, and go on an internal quest to rediscover yourself. The saying, there cannot be a we until there is a me. Remember, now we're talking about Saturn as well, building up your structure. If this resonates with you, it's time to have a dialogue with your higher self and your guides about who you are and what you really need in life. You may be surprised by the answers. This is also a good time to physically retreat from your busy life and relationships. Attend a spiritual retreat might be, an option. Remember I said some of you may be traveling to go someplace else. There's that spiritual quality of Sagittarius there. However, simply finding some time for solitude and introspection can be just as beneficial. Take a walk in nature, quiet your mind, and listen for messages from the birds and trees. Give yourself the gift of daily 5-minute meditations. You may feel that you need assistance in your quest for greater understanding regarding what you need in a relationship, or even how to handle a specific relationship, in which case, find a guide or mentor who is knowledgeable in matters of the heart and converse with that person. The affirmation is, I take time for solitude and introspection. In other words, remember I was talking to you about that, the priest, the sacerdote, confiding in someone, and knowing that what you confide in that person is held sacred and is held like a treasure. Remember, we saw the Dinari there. Okay. Now, the romance angels wanted to bring you this message, and I think this is very interesting. Remember I said to you that there's a change coming, and I think whatever slowdowns or whatever crap is coming up for you, it is because the universe is trying to clear your obstacles. But some of you may have been presented with this new life choice, it's a decision, head or heart. And now you quite don't know what to do. It's a moment of pause. So this is a very, very delicate moment. So be mindful of what you think. Be mindful, take into consideration the other person's wants, desires, and needs, because the path is big enough for two. The answer is very soon. Now, what's funny, and not funny, but the male in this has on a leopard skin, and leopards are associated with the god Bacchus. I think that for some of you, this other person who's come in, Bacchus represents fun times. He represents good times. He represents the drinking of wine and feasting. So this person, I think, can bring a lot of joy and happiness to you, perhaps in ways that you have not considered before. The way that the female is leaned back on him suggests, in a sense, a surrender. Her back is to him as well. Yeah. And so to put your back to a person implies a level of trust, right? And so what keeps coming up is the lean into this, lean into it. But while you're leaning, decide if this is, this is what I've been waiting for. Here it is. Am I ready? Lean into it. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. This card asks you, what do you want? and demands very clear and specific answers. Just like putting in your order at a restaurant, the universe has been listening to your thoughts and feelings about your love life and has brought you what you ask for. Let me read that again. Just like putting in your order at a restaurant, the universe has been listening to your thoughts and feelings about your love life and has brought you what you ask for. When you complain about what's served to you, it's only because you placed an unclear order. As soon as you're perfectly straightforward about what it is you desire, it comes to you upon the wings of angels in an instant. This card has been drawn because it's time for you to get clear and honest with yourself and formulate your request with faith and optimism. Trust your feelings and make decisions for yourself about what's best for you. That's what I have for you for the new moon. This is something to work on and to manifest. I will share a little secret with some little astrology voodoo. If you have a Virgo moon, okay, Virgo moon, you typically get what you want when you have when the new moon is in your sign. Okay, I have to wait till Gemini moon. But typically you can get what you want when you ask for it when the new moon is in your moon sign. Sometimes even in your sun sign. Okay, so I'm a Virgo sun. I'm going to be asking for what I want for this new moon, and I want it to be revealed to me in a way in which it is not mistaken for anything else. And I suggest if you're interested in either drawing a new relationship to you, healing a relationship, or simply increasing the love, value, compassion, and harmony around your relationships. And this could be family, work, business partners, friendships, in whatever manner that means. This new moon is the time to do that. And so I hope this message helped you. And until next time, thanks for allowing me to read for you. Namaste.